What's the worst experience you've had in your work field? 6 weeks into my Microsoft internship, I sat down for my checkpoint review discussion with my mentor and my manager. This was probably only my second time meeting with my manager, since my mentor was really acting as my manager. This was typical for Microsoft internships. Checkpoint review. My mentor began reading the evaluation, and all seemed great. All positive stuff. Yay! Then my manager takes over for the final parts, where he explains that he's given me a no-hire recommendation, on the sole grounds that I don't check in my code often enough. I explained that I hadn't finished the feature yet. Should I really be checking in something that's incomplete? Apparently, yes. This seemed like a ridiculous reason for a no-hire. Why hadn't they just told me earlier? It wasn't like I was refusing to check in my code. I just didn't realize I should be. I went back to my office and checked in my code immediately. HR meeting. Follow-up meeting with Hour. I explained that I'm alarmed that my manager would no-hire me for this, rather than just telling me to correct the issue in the beginning. Don't worry about it, they say. Fix the issue, and proactively solicit feedback from your mentor, just in case there's anything else lurking. Final review. I've been really stressed since my checkpoint review. I've worked extra hard and I have been regularly asking my mentor feedback, and of course checking in my code frequently. All is looking good. But, after my last review, I just don't know what will happen. My mentor starts off reading at the evaluation. He's liked my code, progress, etc. All good stuff. Again, my manager takes over for the final recommendation. Again, no hire. Again, I'm totally caught off guard. He has 3 reasons stated. Number 1 seems like a weird reason for a no-hire, but it's too subjective to argue with. I have no idea what he's talking about with number 2 or number 3. What major bugs? And deadlines? I never saw any deadlines. All I know was my summer goals had only 1 feature listed, and I was onto the 2nd or 3rd now. Was I behind some schedule 1 never saw? He explains that he would be fine with me working elsewhere at Microsoft, just not his team, which, FYI, is kind of messed up. No hire. After the meeting, my mentor stops by my office and tells me that, for what it's worth, he did not agree with the conclusion of that meeting or the negative feedback given. All that negative stuff, the no hire, this all came from my manager, but he, my mentor, is powerless to overrule the manager, who is his manager as well. Now, I realize the weird disconnect in my checkpoint review. The positive stuff all came from my mentor. The negative feedback and no hires came from my manager, who had essentially zero involvement with me. What the? Another developer, who I'd worked with very closely, overhears the conversation, and asks me what's going on. I show her the evaluation. She's very confused as well. She can't think of what these major bugs are. And the deadlines? I was ahead of schedule and work had been transferred from her plate to mine. So, yeah. My manager, who had essentially no interaction with me, was lying on my review to prevent me from being hired, and overruling people who actually worked with me. I appealed the decision to my manager's manager, who changed it to a hire. I really didn't want to go back to that team, but a no hire would pose an issue with future Microsoft interviews. A few years later, I bumped into some people on my old team. Apparently this manager had a string of issues with female developers, unfairly disparaging their work, taking credit for things they've done, and so on. I can't say for sure why he was so against me. I have my obvious guesses, but whatever it was enough to make him lie.